that rich people have indeed figured out how to buy skinny, and now their anti-aging doctors are prescribing Ozempic even just to lose 5 pounds, resulting in the last little bit of body diversity in Hollywood being weeded out once and for all.
Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today we're going to be talking about Ozempic, or the GLP-1 medications that are everywhere. You guys have heard me talk about this many times, but the reason we're going to be talking about it today is actually this video was uploaded by D'Angelo Wallace, and it's funny enough because I've actually been a big fan of D'Angelo for a long time. I actually watched his videos long before he actually became like one of the big commentary guys, which, you know, is kind of cool to me. You know, I knew him before he was cool, but he did this video that is titled The Ozempic Olympics, Hollywood is Ruining Our Health. And I've had quite a few people message me and ask me to talk about this. Now, obviously, we're not going to be talking about the whole video. It's over an hour long. I will link it. I highly recommend it. I think he does a fantastic, like an absolutely fantastic job of sharing his thoughts and just how he feels about Ozempic and chronicling kind of the history of it and how it has become so popular and why he thinks it might be dangerous. And I really like that because I feel like a lot of times when this conversation is brought up, it's very black and white and there's not a lot of nuance. And one thing about D'Angelo that I feel that I've noticed is that he tries to at least see some nuance in there. But before we get into that video, I do kind of want to do a little bit of an overview about like how does Ozempic work? Because I feel like we talk about this a lot. I've mentioned this before, but for someone that might be watching that might not know. So Ozempic is obviously a very popular drug that is out now that is helping a lot of people lose weight, but how does it work, right? And so this is from UC Davis, and it says, how does Ozempic work? We're just going to read through this, right? Ozempic works by mimicking a naturally occurring hormone. As those hormone levels rise, the molecules go to your brain, telling you that you're full. It also slows digestion by increasing the time it takes for food to leave the body. This is a similar effect to bariatric surgery. When using Ozempic to treat diabetes, weight loss is a common side effect. It is designed to be taken long term. So that's the way that Ozempic works, and kind of how it was made for diabetes. It's been around for quite a long time, but it was seen that a side effect of this was people were losing weight. And so then it has moved over to just a more common weight loss medication. Again, D'Angelo does a good job of explaining kind of how it got from being a diabetes medication to being now just prescribed for general weight loss. But this video that he has, a big portion of it talks about the issue between people that genuinely need it. And I think that there are people that can absolutely get help from this medication, that they should not feel shame and people should not treat them badly. And they shouldn't say that you are cheating or that what you are doing doesn't actually count. There are people that genuinely can find a lot of help from it. But there are also people that are using it that absolutely probably shouldn't. And that is becoming a problem. And one of the other craziest things about this medication is just how much it is in pop culture now. It is everywhere, right? It's in songs. It has transcended like YouTube. Like a lot of the stuff I talk about, like if people aren't watching my channel or very similar channels, they're gonna have no idea what this is about. But with Ozempic, you can talk to almost anyone on the street and they're gonna at least know what it is, right?
You know, fasting for Ramadan used to be easy, but the last few years with work and a growing family, it's felt almost impossible, but not anymore. Thanks to Ozempic for Ramadan.
Everybody looks so great. When I look around this room, I can't help but wonder, is Ozempic right for me?
Because it's talked about so often. Like this is something that has completely transcended what it was a few years ago. Like it's crazy that the amount of videos that I feel like I've made on this. I don't have a problem with that, but I just never ever thought that this would happen. And it's been so interesting seeing from basically the start and seeing how it's built up year after year. It's just getting more and more popular. And again, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. It's the people that I feel and other people might feel are abusing this medication that could end up being bad for the people that actually need it. So with all that being said, let's get into this video. I just wanted there to be a sufficient kind of intro so you guys understood like why this stuff is so important to me. So again, we're only going to be watching about 6 minutes of his video that is over an hour long. So again, I highly recommend you watch the video yourself. But let's get into it.
If you ever want to drop 5 pounds, this is good.
If you ever want to know what's really going on in Hollywood, look no further than the comedians. They are certainly part of the in crowd, but they're a lot more likely to expose the open secrets of said crowd in order to get laughs from those on the outside. We laugh because it's confirming what we already know deep down, that these people are really, really weird. The joke functions not just as comedy, but as an insight into a truth hidden in plain sight. The whole phenomenon is best summed up by the poet Homer.
It's funny because it's true.
So what truth are Jimmy Kimmel and Chelsea Handler telling us? Well, that rich people have indeed figured out how to buy skinny, and now their anti-aging doctors are prescribing Ozempic even just to lose 5 pounds, resulting in the last little bit of body diversity in Hollywood being weeded out once and for all.
And the other thing that's so crazy is that we have seen, and I've talked about this before on the channel, like you can go to a place where you would get like injections for your face, and they are also doing Ozempic injections as well. Again, that's when I'm like, that's too far. That is taking this thing that can be life-changing for people, and again, is not a bad thing, that when it is being overused, that's when it becomes a bad thing. Because, like it said in that article that we read where it was talking about what Ozempic is for, these things are meant to be used chronically, long-term. When you get off of it, there are going to be side effects. It's going to be difficult to keep that weight off. Not that it's impossible, but again, like those are important things that should be mentioned, that people are just taking this drug willy-nilly like it's, you know, basically, oh, I have a headache, I'm going to take some Advil. It's like they're treating it like that, which is insane, right? In that first clip where Chelsea Handler was talking about it, she didn't even realize she was taking Ozempic. It was just her doctor, her anti-aging doctor just said, oh, here, take this if you need to lose some weight. She didn't even know that she was on it, right? That's a problem.
People who are not that overweight are taking these drugs to lose maybe 10, 15, 20 pounds.
How a diabetes drug became the talk of Hollywood, tech, and the Hamptons. This is the Hollywood drug. Everyone I know is on it, says Patty Stanger of Bravo TV's The Millionaire Matchmaker.
These weren't developed for cosmetic uses, but they're being used cosmetically because they're so amazing in their effect.
And the issue for me is that that is happening, and that is putting a bad taste in other people's mouths that have no intention of using it. They don't feel like they would ever want it, but they start to feel like anyone that uses it doesn't actually need it, or they shouldn't be using it, because it's like, it's like an easy way out. In my opinion, all this does, the overuse, people using it that shouldn't be using it, all it does is hurt the people that genuinely do need to use it, right? I know there's plenty of people in my community, plenty of people I've talked to that I am literally friends with, right? Like I know people in real life that are taking it, that it has changed their life, but they are dealing with the stigma in large part due to a lot of the stuff that is happening with these celebrities or just people going to the whatever med spa and getting these injections that just absolutely don't need it, right?
It's like the new Botox, says Terry Dubrow, the plastic surgeon from the TV show Botched. I love it. It's so good. Everyone is suddenly showing up 25 pounds lighter, says Andy Cohen of Real Housewives fame. What happens when they stop taking Ozempic? And he's not exaggerating either. I got on the bandwagon, says Real Housewives of New Jersey star Dolores Catania. What housewife isn't on Ozempic? Asks Cohen. Not one. I wasn't going to come to this reunion looking bigger than anyone else.
Monjuro, it's another part of
Oh, that's the amped up version.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the fast forward to Skinnyville.
Like, if fast forward to Skinnyville doesn't tell you how casually these celebs are treating these drugs, I don't know what does.
I really want to try it when I give birth.
This is literally a joke to these people. Besides the fact that this is just dystopian in general, I have to point out that it's not only extremely unethical, but very dangerous as well. Medicine is tested on people who have medical conditions, not typically on those without. So taking drugs to treat something you literally don't have is just reckless, because you have no idea what you're actually doing to your body.
Exactly.
Ideally, what doctors are looking for is for a continued 1 to 2 pound weight loss per week. Certainly not the 10, 15 pounds in 1 week that people are claiming they've lost on these medications when they're using them in a non-prescribed, uncontrolled way.
And putting yourself in danger just because you want to be size 0 instead of size 1 is one thing, but it gets even worse. These medications have been on the US government's drug shortages list for years at this point. Drug shortages aren't just bad for the obvious reasons of people not being able to get the help they need either. It gets more awful when awful people take advantage of people's desperation for this product by selling counterfeit Ozempic pins online, which resulted in serious side effects and sometimes even death. So
that's so terrible, man, because like when it comes to weight loss, this is something that I've talked about quite a bit, and why I get really frustrated when people take advantage of others that are trying to lose weight, whether or not they have lost weight themselves. There's plenty of people that are like that, in my opinion, that I think is wrong. But just people in general that take advantage of those who want to lose weight, especially people that are significantly overweight. The reason being is because from what I've seen, a lot of the people that really have struggled with their weight their whole lives, that really want to lose weight and they feel like they've tried everything, those people are a lot of times very desperate. And so I feel like there's like definitely a correlation, at least in my mind, of like the more desperate someone is, the more likely they are to try something that maybe in their right mind they wouldn't try, but because they feel they've tried everything, they're willing to give it a shot. And I feel like there are types of people that see that and they prey on that person. They are looking for the person that's more desperate. They are searching for those people that feel like they've tried everything, right? That's why you see ads. Have you feel like you've tried everything? Like, because when you feel that way, you are just so much more willing to give something a shot that you normally wouldn't. And that's why I get so frustrated when people prey on those of us that are trying to lose weight, that have tried to lose weight your whole life, because we are desperate to lose the weight. It's something that you really want to do, right?
These Hollywood actors potentially endangering themselves is one thing, but it's absolutely unacceptable when you realize they are contributing to a shortage that is endangering the health and very lives of people who actually need the stuff. And also they can perpetuate the same beauty standards that result in the discrimination against people with obesity in the first place. Even though this has been going on for a couple years now, it's only getting more rampant over time. It's gotten to the point where just a few weeks ago, Eli Lilly, remember them? They released an entire commercial about this. Eli Lilly slams Hollywood's Ozempic obsession ahead of Oscars.
People whose health is affected by obesity are the reason we work on these medications. It matters who gets them.
I do have to say though, this ad is kind of annoying because it's literally Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk's responsibility to keep up with the demands for these drugs in the first place. Like, yes, the Hollywood usage thing is bad, but they're not single-handedly causing this problem. And
yeah, I was like, I'm not one that wants to defend a drug manufacturing company, so...
By the way, if it's so important to Eli Lilly that people get the medication they need, maybe they could take some steps to ensure that more people have access to this medication, even if they can't get it through their insurance. Like, I can't help but think that the fact that these meds can cost around $1,000 a month out of pocket, if not more, is probably part of the reason this turned into a class issue where only wealthy people have a 100% chance of acquiring it in the first place. But no, why work on any of that when you can just make a commercial about it? Am I right?
And the other thing that's so frustrating about this is that these drugs and stuff, it's just a part of the problem with obesity that a lot of people don't talk about. Is like, it's so easy to want to blame it on willpower, right? It's like so easy to blame it. The only reason you're fat is because you just don't work hard enough, or because whatever, you eat bad. But in reality, like, there's so much more that goes into it, right? Like, with people, like, if you are born in a position that you don't have much money, right? Or you're in a food desert, or there are so many other factors that go into obesity and people that struggle with obesity that it's just so frustrating seeing a company that is making a drug that is helping people still being like, you don't take it, but also we're going to make it unbelievably expensive because we still need to make money, right? It's just gross, in my opinion.
A commercial that, frankly, is just going to get even more people thinking, wait, you can use Mounjaro for cosmetic weight loss? And seeing as how big pharma companies are, at the end of the day, still companies, one has to imagine that this was a consideration or even a factor behind making this ad campaign in the first place. But you know, while many people still do deserve to be called out over this, there is a major caveat here. Just because someone is a rich celebrity does not mean that they're exempt from health issues. There are actual people in Hollywood with obesity or even type 2 diabetes, and clearly this drug has helped them. Actor Anthony Anderson has diabetes and was one of the most prominent voices calling for this trend to stop. And while you can certainly acknowledge how wealth, class, privilege, and all of this play a huge role in making it way easier for a celebrity to obtain this medicine as opposed to the average person, you can't just point your finger at any celebrity who has lost weight in the last couple of years and blame them for a national drug shortage. Again, we don't know if they used Ozempic, and even if they did, some people really do need the medicine, even if said people have offshore bank accounts.
So that's all the video that we're going to show, because I feel like the rest of it, I mean, there's a lot of it is stuff that we've already talked about previously, just because obviously we've been talking about this quite a bit, but I really feel that D'Angelo does a great job. Like, if you're at all curious about the video, I highly recommend you watch it. But I just felt that he did an incredible job, especially talking about the nuance when it comes to, yes, like Ozempic is incredibly helpful for a specific person, but there absolutely are people that are, you know, they are using it when they don't need it, right? They're exploiting that. It's just, there's so many people that don't need it that are using it. But at the same time, just because those people are doing that, that doesn't mean that the people that actually need it are bad or anything, right? It's like there's two different types of people. And it just feels like with this conversation, it's like if you bring this up, some people will just be like, oh, that's just cheating, or that doesn't count, or whatever. That's an easy way out. When, like, for a specific person, maybe that is the case, but not for everyone. I don't know if I'm explaining that well, but like there are plenty of people that this has completely changed their life, and it's made it to where they're able to make the steps that are necessary to have that weight loss, which that's not the only thing that matters, right? But like to improve their health when before they felt like it was impossible for them. And those people shouldn't be shamed, and they shouldn't be ridiculed for the choices of people that are taking it that is not completely necessary. But I'm genuinely curious, what do y'all think? Down in the comment section down below. Are you on Ozempic or another GLP-1? Like, has it helped you? What has your experience been, right? Because everyone has their own experience, and I would love to know what y'all think down in the comment section down below. Again, if you want to check out the video, the full thing, it'll be linked in the description. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.